Andrea's not gonna do the Zoom tonight.
But she's available for sex.
Say it.
Okay, it's 6:31. I'd like to call this monthly meeting to order. I got it recording there already.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn the video on so they can see it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, look at us.
So the roll call shows everyone here but one individual. And I'd like to take a minute to explain to those individuals that Tony Wade, who used to sit at the end here, which was our newest council member, unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, he died. He went to the hospital with pneumonia, and then there were complications, and unfortunately, he passed. So he was only with us for about 2 months, but he was a member of the town of Monroe. So I'd like to take at least 60 seconds moment of silence for Anthony. We did send condolences and flowers to his wife, and she did appreciate that. So with that, we'll go ahead and do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to my life, to the state of America, for which it stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there any of the public that's want to make any public comments? If you do, just come up to the podium and state your name for the record, and you can speak on anything that's currently not on the agenda for the evening. Since I'm not. Yes, sir.
My name is AJ Singh. I'm one of the owners of Miller's Market, which is about a quarter mile up the road from here. I was looking through the agenda and I did see that the gas pumps were on the agenda. That is something I'd like to talk about if possible. I had submitted a few documentations last year and at the beginning of this year as well regarding the plans, the blueprints and all of that fun stuff. And I believe I was just asking to see where we stand with getting it approved or what the process is, or if anybody has any questions or concerns, I'd like to answer those as well.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to close the public comments, and interesting enough, AJ, as soon as I saw you, I realized I forgot to put that on the agenda. So now we're to, if anybody has any adds, additions or subtractions for the agenda, I'd like to add one. Of course, it's the old unfinished business would be the Miller's Market proposal. Make that item E.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to remove Mineral Historic Foundation unless there is any questions pertaining to the upcoming public hearing.
I have no issue with that.
I had requested to put on there the newsletter. However, if that's not something that we need to vote on, then I could just cover it in my committee meeting. If it's something that we need to vote on, then I would like for it to be added.
Yes, and I do apologize because you did, in fact, send me it. And having 2 full-time jobs is making me a little crazy. I'll put that as item D under new business. And then you can discuss with your colleagues what that's all about.
And I don't know if we want to discuss this tonight, but the water bill for the fire department,
Do you like that under new business or unfinished business?
I don't know.
Okay, let's,
Because I know it was discussed last year. I have no idea, but I know what the situation is.
okay,
As far as what's being paid for the water bill at certain places, but
okay, so I'll add that as item E under new business, since it was a while ago that we talked the fire department. Anyone else? Then I'd like to get a motion to accept the modified agenda.
So moved.
Seconded.
Second, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? No, okay, thank you. Moving on to town minutes. You'll see that there's December 22nd, 2022 minutes that somehow slipped through the cracks. I did take the opportunity to talk to the attorney. Only because there was really only two of us that were on council in December and you all came in after, but she said that the rules allow this present council to vote. So I'm just passing that on. Okay,
Why Ron Chapman absent, what that has to do with,
I think
it's on the very first page.
yeah, I saw that. I thought it had to do with the historic.
It would be nice to know why,
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if we could add.
Minutes.
No, he was not taking them.
No. Rhea took the
Andrea
minutes.
was taking them, so, I mean, but she, I think, was reviewing the video, but I'm not positive. But again, I mean, if we don't know why, then we should strike it, because we don't know
Right.
why, and then, under,
Give me a page.
second page.
Yeah.
Where we allowing the mayor to participate electronically and have, Becky McGee as a non-council member objecting to the mayor having to run the meeting, that should not be on there, to the fact that.
I do understand why that's on there, because the outgoing council provided the minutes. The incoming council approved them. These would have been approved in January. So January's council would have been part of that meeting. Remember, we were given the honorary attendance at the last two meetings for November and December.
But
I don't know what you're talking about.
but
That's not, that got voted here.
he should not be stating. it should
I
not
did that
be
in a
on
public
here at
comment.
all. It's-
I didn't do it after the,
yeah,
that
that's
was
what
in
I'm saying. If it was
a
under
public comment.
comments, it should not be,
Okay,
it should not be in that location. It should be in a different location.
right.
So it should drop under,
It should
under the
actually be
heading
under the
drop
Public comment.
public comment.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm going to I'll wait. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Is your ordinances need to, by your ordinance, have to have a number of consecutive is passed, so there has to be. Minutes. October minutes, I had rough drafts of them in the file. Hoping that it would be somewhere.
Well, in the minutes for November, does it say October is approved?
Well, the draft minutes, I can see it in there, so I'll double that. But then November still would be gone, so I'll check and see if October's
Right.
in November.
Well, when I do the minutes, but the minutes are approved. So they should have them
So November in the draft, well,
in the draft minutes, it should say.
okay. draft minutes I have on this drive.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's the same draft minutes that I have. So,
I don't have any draft minutes, but maybe I'll look on the website and see what's there.
but in either case, November will happen. If October's, it was approved in November.
Yeah, so this, again, just brings out how in the past, we just haven't done a good job at following through with our minutes and stuff, and now we're adding to. And,
I reflect he's as acting clerk.
yeah,
We need to have the person who took the minutes certify it and either there or
Okay.
acting clerk certify it, and we'll stamp it, put it in the register in the office.
do we know on these ordinances what the numbers
I,
are supposed to be?
well, I don't have copies of the ordinances in the ordinance file there, so I'll have to talk to Andrea.
It's supposed to be month, date, and year.
Okay, in 2022, there is nothing for November or December.
Right.
So October has a packet,
I know.
but no minutes.
No minutes.
Right.
But
I don't like-
have some computer here that somebody prepared. I can go through this typewriter and stuff.
I don't,
Yeah, we've got a numbering system.
Yeah.
I just got. Which ones, I'll talk to Andrea, which ones. I'll have to review all the minutes to be sure which ones were passed.
I think November was, because that's when I was important. November.
Okay, so we need. What I'm hearing you say is we should maybe hold off on approving December's until we get the
Well, yeah.
ordinance numbers,
Yeah.
the resolution, and the coincide.
They are ordinances, and
Okay, Becky?
I don't know why we have to approve these minutes because I won't approve something I wasn't a part of.
Yeah, so you can abstain.
Right, but I mean, to even present it,
Well-
it's,
That's why I knew some of you were gonna ask me. That's why I asked the question. Because I thought.
I mean, there's no way I'm gonna approve something that I had no idea.
I mean, the only two people that really approve it in my mind is Blair and I. 'cause we're
Exactly.
The only two that were left.
active on council.
And that won't get approved because you have to have what, 3?
Well, no, we just have to have a form.
Oh.
But 3 of it's one, so we wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, all right, so we'll just. Put December's to the side until we. Get a little better. of what's going on in terms
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with that.
So I think that we need to specifically list what we're fixing on these minutes,
Yeah,
so that we know for next month
Andrea,
what
you hear us?
we are looking for.
yeah,
So we know we need ordinance numbers, it looks like
Yep.
2 ordinances,
right,
an explanation as to why council members that had not taken their seats are included in the minutes.
right,
So those 2 items, 4 items in total.
Yep.
And then we
Set
can
the
approve the
microphones.
minutes.
yeah. I agree.
Where is the microphone on here?
So in your packet, you should have April's. Some time to look that over and then we'll entertain either additions, modifications, subtractions, and or a motion to approve April 10th meeting.
I have,
Right.
I know what was being tried to say here when I spoke as a public,
Right.
but I can interpret it a different way too, if I just read it. You said she didn't really say what Miss McGee is saying. It sounds like I wasn't telling the truth. I understand what you were trying to say. In the letter, she did not say
Right.
what I said, but in what the girl told me was in detail of what the letter did not state.
Okay.
So you can sit there and you can interpret it a couple of different ways, and that's why I'm bringing it up. And unless it's changed, I'm not I'm not voting to approve the minutes.
Okay. Yep. Anybody else see anything that's one doesn't make sense, is totally wrong, totally right, or did I forget something?
I motion we approve minutes as
Are we supposed to denote, I don't know the answer to this, but are we supposed to denote that Andrea was electronically in attendance and not physically? I don't know if we are required to, I'm not sure, but I thought we were.
In the old days you were, I don't know, they changed the rules.
I know, council were required.
Yeah, since you brought it up, we'll just add it,
Okay.
yes. All right. That's a good catch. Okay, so there is a motion, to approve with a modification on.
Andrea.
Andrea was. In attendance,
A second. Oh, wait, did I make the motion? You made the motion. I second the motion.
do a roll call, Bernice,
Yes.
Blair,
yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Olivia.
Yes.
No,
I know this may be scary to some folks, what I'm about to tell you, but, actually, at this meeting, have AI doing the recording and dictation for the minutes. Now, basically, as we're talking, the AI is,
does that mean artificial intelligence?
yes.
Whoa,
No, it's not 100%, so it still has to have some QC in, but it learns each time. And so, one of the comments that I have made is that we are trying to bring the town of Mineral into the next century. And so, that software was available and we decided to give that a spin and see just how good it is. And, so
how expensive is it?
it's free. Yes.
And
Because
who provides it?
it's still in a beta. So.
Is it cyber going to be able to hack us? In this?
Well, not unless,
Because that's a lot of controversy on,
Considering the server is well less down right now, I don't think anything's gonna attack us.
yeah, that's true. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention just as, gee whiz. So,
when Russia starts coming in, we know.
Right?
right,
So do I don't have to.
I would do it just in case.
yeah, I was gonna say, it's in a beta, so. I don't have any other minutes, so, I don't know what happened to January, February's we don't have yet.
I think that she had done the minutes and then she lost the,
Yeah, and
she
then,
was trying to retrieve it.
Did she ask for the recording of the January minutes, which I just, upload to the Dropbox tonight?
Which is what the.
okay,
Like the password.
so January and February is still out there and.
Is there an expected time frame that we can have January 30? And I know it is comical. It's comical
I know.
because we've been asking since
I
January.
think it all depends on whether we can get that password to be able to access.
No, The reporting is online, is it not? Isn't January's reporting on our website?
I think they put it up, that's before I started. doing
No, it's not, because I looked.
It's not on the.
No,
No,
I found January's.
and he
She
just,
didn't ask for February, she asked for, these double check, she asked for January's, which I told her I gave it for these to upload. And
There's a February video, there's a February video.
We have February.
okay. So. Yeah, so let's hope we can have it here by the next monthly meeting. And this AI, maybe we'll run it through there to see how good it does. Going to unfinished business, you should have, again, some information on sign. I'm gonna have Denise speak on that one because probably maybe the initially the one out and got the information. And Denise, you want to talk about?
We have 3 quotes there, one from. 2 of them are from 2 Florida companies, the one from Stewart Sons, they've done a lot of signs around here. I recommend that, if we go with one, we go with, Epic Signs, which is out of Fredericksburg, because it's local. The other 2 are in Florida. And the other 2 make the signs, but they don't install them, so their cost does not include the installation of the sign. The Fredericksburg company installs the sign. And if you take the cost and add the $5,000 to $6,000 for installation, then it's going up to the same price, so. If you wanted to see one of the signs that this company did, they just put one in at Mineral Baptist Church. They also did the temple that's down next to Christopher Run. I'm not sure what the name of it is.
I know what you're talking about.
I just drove by it today.
Stewart Sons did a lot of signs, with St. Jude's, I had a list there, as it, y'all, I guess.
Yeah, it was, I saw it online.
But, they just, to me, I don't think that we want to go trying to hire a contractor to put the sign in and install when these people do it. They do it all. So if we're gonna go with the sign, I recommend that we go with Epic.
They basically modified the,
Yeah, they're gonna do the same thing
they're gonna
here.
modify ours to be able to fit it in there, so they don't have to tear the inside.
Do you know what the estimated time frame would be?
I do not know what the estimated time frame, but I will tell you what, I asked the man to come give me an estimate. He came down that day.
Thanks.
So the only thing that I would add, this, as part of the discussion is, as you all know, we just had to order new computers because of the power pump and stuff like that, so we have and will be putting out a chunk of change for that. I don't know if you want to defer ruling on the signs until after we see where we are. I'm just throwing that out. Obviously, it's up to council to decide.
How long is this thing necessary?
The rest of them were good for 30 days. I had to go back and get the estimate.
So this was probably going to.
Ed, when will we know the cost overall of the computer situation?
I can give you a guesstimation that's not firmed, all said and told with everything needs to be done, it's gonna be almost $50,000.
Not works, it's not the works that I've heard. So that's not. Horrible.
So we're getting new computers, the new program, is that coming in at the same point that we get the new?
And it's gonna be put on the new,
So it won't be
right,
put the old program on, then we have to go back.
right. And we made sure when we did the specs that the SQL, which is required for it to run, was included, so.
Timing wise, we can't really get the system up and going till we get our books cleaned up. So we know what we can put into the new system. So there is gonna be a delay on implementing the accounting system. Will be in before that, but you have to get your books reconciled and have to get your chart of account set up to do what you wanted to do, either of which has been done, and we haven't even hired the firm to do that yet.
So you're saying, what you're saying is the books, the mess that's back there has to be done. Everything that's wrong with back there has to be done before any of this is done.
And you have to.
And that's a whole lot of stuff back there that needs to be done.
You gotta have math, you gotta, hey, design what you want,
So it could be a year.
could be.
So,
But I mean, ultimately, we'll have it operation before then, but talking to the one consultant that anytime you put a new system in, it's gonna need to be tweaked. Because it doesn't always work right the first time. But it's gonna take a while because what what the one recommended is that you get an audit complete for at least one of the 2 years, most likely your last year. And that way you can start where your starting point is. And then again, you gotta take what you've got here, you gotta map. And I'll give you one simple example. Is everything's in the general fund now. In the past, you've always thought like you had a water reserve fund and this reserve fund. Well, none of those exist. They don't exist. And there's no record of 2 years ago, you seem to be keeping track of that, but the last 2 years, it just disappeared from your book. So you're gonna have to make certain decisions on how you want to allocate your general fund. How much you want to put to water, how much you want to put to sewer, and how much you want to keep in the general fund. And then you're gonna set up your cemetery definitely as its independent system. You can make a choice on whether you want to have water and sewer as one unit, or if you want to have as separate components, but they'll be all enterprise funds where you can see what you need to do to make them self-supporting and how much money you gotta set aside for equipment replacement, what have you that. And then, even given the general fund, you probably wanna have some sort of division on your DMP, so we can see how much it's contributing to the bottom line of the general fund. It is cash positive, but right now, we don't have the accounting reports to tell you how much so.
So basically, we need more help.
So we're gonna be talking some more about that down in the
Okay.
managers.
right,
On the signage,
going back to the sign, on the last page
last page of.
of the Fredericksburg one, it says here 50% deposit required to be it's in the date of installation. So we could actually go ahead and, if we want this, approve it, and possibly give them half the amount to have, and then have them put it in, installed at a later date.
I guess that thought, maybe
If,
want somebody to go back and make sure that it was okay.
if someone on the committee could ask.
Yeah, two suggestions. One is maybe you can act on it at your meeting with
Oh,
before.
yeah.
And just, I haven't had a chance to really dig deep in the budget, but just intuitively, you didn't pay for the accounting consultant. Now you did spend more on your accounting software, but you have a lot of personal services money that you haven't used.
Right.
Probably in excess of the 50 and the 25 combined, plus the $20,000 or $10,000 set aside for property maintenance that has been used. So there's probably in those line items enough flexibility to reprogram, but Ed and I need to sit down and go over that. And hopefully we'll get that done. But
What's the pleasure of council? You want?
I would like to see a sign. It was always intended to be out there. When this building was built, it was intended to be an electronic sign. And it's a nice sign. I think it would help us to communicate with the public, which is something that we are severely lacking in at the moment.
And we'll be able to also at the same time allow the public to know about any fire department events that are going on.
Right, we can
any
advertise the
events,
community as
events
well.
in general that's going on.
I think actually Reese makes a good point. I think we can add it to the agenda on the 23rd. Let's find out if we can do a 50% deposit and what is the length of time?
I expect that would give you, how much time you want to put a 50% of
Right.
time there.
I mean, why not go ahead and do it? I mean, instead of waiting.
You comfortable with?
I mean, we still gonna have to come up with the money, so do it.
Sure.
I don't believe in
Okay, is
waiting around.
there a motion?
I motion that we approve the Epic LED order and have the sign record and installed. As presented.
I second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Becky?
Yeah.
Olivia?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Yes.
And Ms. Cuby?
Yes.
Okay. The next one is the current budget. Reese and I, we're working on that. And we're trying to determine some last minute things, at least. Do we have our timeline that we're talking?
yes, we've talked, is it the 24th or the 23rd?
Okay, that's my bad. It is the 24th. I know I told you the 23rd, which was Tuesday, but we moved it to Wednesday, the 24th. Yes,
So we'll have a proposed budget for you to look at that evening. Roll up your sleeves. We're gonna have to come out of that with some sort of decisions because we have to publish it. To have the public hearing at your June 12th meeting, we've got to get the budget ad to the newspaper. They prefer that Friday, the 26th, but they will let us do as late as Monday morning. So then at June 12th is your regular meeting. That's where you have your budget hearing. You've got to wait at least 7 days to adopt and appropriate the budget. So you need to set a meeting sometime. It's 7 days past the 12th. In order to adopt it, it needs to be in place by June 30th.
Who is taking ownership of scheduling these meetings and communicating with the CV so that it is advertised properly?
I have taken that responsibility. Yes.
So just for clarity, the 24th is which public hearing?
So
Then,
24th is going to be on the proposed new water rates. It's also going to be on the lease.
For foundation to
Yeah.
street
The
closing.
The
lease,
street closures, we're going to kick to the 12th, which is the regular monthly meeting.
Mhm.
Have the two residents that requested those street closures been informed?
One of them has, the other one has not. So,
If you need me to reach out to them,
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking.
yeah, no, it's always good to volunteer.
So on that 24th, we're going to be having two public hearings and we're going to be reviewing the budget.
Right.
the public hearing was gonna be the 24th,
Public hearing is going to be for only the two things.
the
water
meeting
rate
in June 12th.
and the lease.
Okay.
Yeah.
The lease being,
Yeah,
So they had such and then reviewing the budget.
and reviewing the thing.
Okay.
And then we'll have the public hearing on the 12th.
For the budget.
regular meeting.
What about the,
And the two roads. I'm gonna give you guys the road map. because
ask about the equalization.
That's all part of what we do.
So if we're equalizing, we don't have to advertise, correct?
You don't have the advertisement that has to be like 45 days in advance and find this big that we raise taxes with real estate taxes. Doesn't need to be done, you're not gonna raise real estate taxes. And we're gonna equalize, which means you're gonna bring in approximately within 1% what you brought in real estate taxes before. And we work with the Commissioner of Revenue to get those costs. That'll be the rate, equalized rate will be the one that we propose and proposed budget.
Have we already decided as a body that we are equalizing the rate?
Well, we have not, because we're gonna wait to hear what the public's got.
You have no choice at this point.
Yeah.
Because you have to have your budget in place.
Yeah.
And we did discuss it at
That
last-
workshop.
The last workshop, right? But doesn't there have to be an action of council?
only if you're not gonna equalize it.
Okay.
I have the group life insurance. I think I sent that to you.
Mhm.
Was there anything that you wanted as far as the First Amendment? I mean, that's something that we're going to be giving the employees.
Right, in the turmoil with my counterpart on personnel.
Yep.
I'm gonna need another month
Okay,
to fill in my new counterpart on
Okay.
personnel. Only because Tony and I had started discussing it, and then he went into the hospital. And had been in the hospital for 3 weeks, so Liv, you and I will sit down and get caught up on that. Let's get through, it's my opinion, we get through the budget first. And let me see where the money sits, and then personnel can review benefits for the employees.
good.
So you have moved Olivia to personnel?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't think you were here last.
It wasn't discussed at the last
It
meeting.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It's just.
out of necessity, yeah, it
Yeah.
just happened, so.
Sorry, I should have put the town manager minutes up later, so I can discuss that, yeah. But yes,
That's fine, I just want to put it in there.
yeah, no, thank you.
So more to come on the group life insurance,
Right.
I'm sorry.
And then, of course, the unfinished business is Miller's Market and the proposal on, him wanting to do, basically at the gas station. I know there's been some points of contention about whether there was an official timeline that we had to adhere to, that once you put in an application, that we got turned down, you had to wait a year. But quite frankly, I have not found that in
So-
documentation.
It's in state code. State law states that this council cannot review something that the previous council reviewed if it is same, similar, or exact in nature. Andrea was supposed to send that code to you.
I did not get that code. Recently,
No, but she did tell me that there was a 12-month flooding that was. They sent me documentation, but she said that you have to wait 12 months from your last action to take it back up.
so AJ, do you know off the top of your head exactly when you first gave the town that application? And the reason I'm kind of putting you on the spot is because with all new council here as of January, I'm not sure that anybody would know better than you would.
Off the top of my head, I do not recall the exact date, but I do know it was late spring, early summer. But when I did submit, I submitted to change the zoning, but this is not for zoning, so this is a whole different topic. I can't remember the form name, I know that was for the.
Continuous,
No,
Variance.
it was a variance, correct?
Yeah.
It was a variance, so this is a whole other. From changing the code, it will allow anybody to take care of it, but from doing the variance, needs approval from the board. Anything that's new construction will need approval from the board. And that's the route I want to take rather than rezoning everything, which would be nearly impossible because I don't want that.
Okay.
It's so I understand. Your last application was for a variance.
No, my last one was for zoning. This one, no variance.
So this one's for a variance. So I'll explain that, Greg, because that may make it different.
So the information has been submitted, the application submitted by Mr. Singh has been submitted to the attorney. For her to review. What she explained to me was that the action of council has to be 12 months from the action of council, not date of application.
Right.
Right, but it does the
Council
fact
took
that
action
the,
in December.
and that was for a zoning change, not a variance. Is the two different or are they the same? And this is where I'm out of my league and I wish she was here because
So she tried. There must have been miscommunication because she tried to set up a meeting that came through on my phone for these. We set up the meeting through here and I didn't send her an invite because I didn't think she was coming.
Okay. AJ, with that being said, I know you,
Let me just ask if I could.
yeah. I know you're a bit frustrated because you feel like we're hunting this continuously. Let me see if we can get a hold of the attorney so I can give you a little bit more concrete than hearsays. And I'm not discounting what Ron is saying by no means, but I think if you put that in June of the springtime of last year, and we haven't been as clear as to what the end of the note was, then we need to straighten that out. And this is part of our. Let me rephrase, that's part of my learning curve that I'm trying to get these meetings a little bit more concrete and so that it's not kind of by the time you step out, you're like, I have no clue what they decided, and that's not fair to you. Again, I just want to make sure.
And if I may, I just want to add one more thing. In the variance, I also stated that once it gets approved, that's when I will have the ground testing. So I know there was a well underneath
Right,
of the parking lot we're currently using. So once it gets approved, I have my gas company has links with an environmental company who will come out and get that information. So if the environmental company says that this land is not good to build construction on, then the whole plan is that we will not. And I have stated that in the variance as well.
yeah, and I appreciate that because one of the things that I learned through one or the other is we just need to figure out if council through the planning commission, if they agree to it, then that starts a whole series of more money out of your pocket. And instead of trying to have you spend a lot of money up front, and then all of a sudden we turn you down, and then it's like, well, geez, if you guys had told me that, I wouldn't have spent X amount of dollars, so that's kind of what I'm. What did you find out, Reese, anything?
I'm texting her, she can answer.
Okay, so let's just, move on, and then we'll come back to that.
Well, and
If
Mr.
we
Mayor,
get that.
we're kind of putting the cart before the horse because the planning commission has not had a quorum to even make a suggestion to this council. So we kind of put the cart way before the horse because we've already kicked it to the planning commission.
And why hasn't the planning commission had a forum?
Because we had a member not attend the last meeting.
How many members is on planning commission?
Being chairman of the past. I can check the code, but the council, there's two ways things can be initiated, one by the planning commission itself, the other by the board. If the board does it, planning commission at a certain time period which they have to act. If they don't act within that time, the board will take it up on themselves. I think you want to put the planning commission out, but that there is, they can't just sit on something, is what I'm saying.
Right.
That can come back to you, but action isn't taken within a certain period of time.
Okay. And what's council thought on that comment?
Well, I think we have a lot of work. I mean, this is way off
Yeah,
the Miller's Market proposal topic, but I think that our planning commission needs some work. And we can't be going months with residents and business owners of the town waiting for an answer on this.
well, I agree, and I thought that we had already in our ordinances that if you were a member of the planning commission and you miss more than 2 meetings,
Meetings are off.
you're off, and we should have somebody. What happened to Mrs. Stoniger? Did she ever give?
I was supposed to talk to her tonight and I left her a message, but she hasn't called me.
Okay, so folks, we need to rustle up to people that are interested.
I'm working on that. Jim Snyder and I are working
Yeah.
on putting together an active planning commission and board of zoning appeals.
Okay.
Which is, it'll be in my report later.
Okay. AJ, what I'd ask you is just give us another 30 days or so to get our act together. I'm gonna get with the planning commission. You know, making a commitment to you right here in public that we will get to a end game as to whether it's going to be approved or not. And I just need to snap a whip on the planning commission to see what their recommendations are. And then, once that's forwarded, the town council, even though the planning commission could disapprove it, doesn't mean the town council couldn't go in the opposite direction unless it's something that's really in the ordinance that we just can't overcome. And so I've seen your paperwork on our file, so I'll get with Mr. Snyder. He's usually here. Tonight he isn't here, so if he was here, he could maybe provide some more feedback on that. So,
The planning commission is just advisory anyway.
oh, I know,
Council can,
I
I
know.
mean, I wanna go through the planning commission, but council is the last say.
That's right. I agree. Unless somebody has anything else, I will move to the next topic. Okay. Under the new business, you should have a list of bills to pay.
Question.
We always have an answer for you. Yeah.
The flowers for Toledo, what was that for?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah,
didn't know.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, and then the pure water for Virginia,
Yes.
is that gonna be $110 every month?
No, just the initial.
Was it 330?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And do we know why? What do you call it, is would that be still partially because it's leaks?
So. Here's what I know. Mr. Arnett and myself, who are on the water committee. For some reason, when we had all the manhole covers lined and stuff, we did not do them all. There are about 5 or 6 that are in, I'll use the term treacherous grounds that you can't drive down into. And without having some stable platform to get vehicles down in next to these manhole covers to get the equipment to line them and straighten them up, those could be part of the infiltration of the water into the sewer system. We haven't, and let me rephrase that, Bernice and her committee have talked about that, and we haven't come up with a remedy or solution to what that's going to cost to stabilize that ground. It almost looks like these manhole, it's got part of a stream running, from the water runoff and stuff like that. And it's out on the far side of the town beyond Richmond Avenue in that area. Other than that, I don't know that they can say certainty why the rate's up. And this has been a continuous issue. And I don't know if this past, at the airport, we had 3.5 inches of rain this past month. I don't know how much we got here, whether that contributed to it or not.
We measured it, 3/4.
Yeah,
So looking at the bill, so we know the account balance currently for the town. I'm not asking you to give it to me. I'm
Yes.
asking you to know what it is.
yes,
We have enough to cover this.
yes. Yes, sir.
I believe we just ordered the flowers for Korea, that they were less than, I think that's the spring, I think those were the ones for 20.
Okay,
They went to Mr. Wade. Family.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We ordered flowers for who?
Mr. Wade.
Anthony.
Oh, I thought you said something else. I'm sorry. I was going, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
I know it's really were less than that.
Yeah, it was. So,
Yeah, another one that quickly already?
yeah, so. Unless there's any other questions, I'll take a motion.
I motion that we approve the bills.
Second,
Second by Ron. Roll call, Bernice,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Olivia, and Rod.
yes.
Thank you.
I do have one more comment to make.
Yep.
So it shows on here nameplate for Tony Wade. We're actually paying for it this month. Can we deliver that to his life?
We actually have it, and we are delivering that to his wife, yes. I've already sent you the next couple of spreadsheets. One of them, because some of you asked what the budget was last year. It's just 3 pages. And this is the budget that we will expire June 30th. Just to get your mind, we roll in new budget so that you can see what the old ones, it's obviously many council back then. The next piece of documentation is the actual water rates that are being proposed. That will actually be in the paper on Thursday. And then we will have the public hearing on the 24th for public comments on the change to the water rates.
So it is a public hearing on the 24th, where you said it wasn't
No.
a while back.
It's
It's 2, yes, the public will be here on the 24th.
Okay, I thought that,
And we will-
okay,
Yeah.
don't give me too many dates.
And why it's important to do the water rate first is that way we can incorporate whatever revenues you adopt, whether the current ones or the increased ones.
But nothing's gonna be voted on the 24th.
That's up to council.
Will we be voting on it?
To give guidance for the preparation of the budget, one way or another.
Yeah.
You can always put tentatively to increase water rates, and after the public hearing, as you did last year, decide not to adopt the water rates.
Yes,
So, you can, but you can't, once you propose a budget, after public hearing, you can't just start adding money on. So, if you want to have contingencies or some flexibility, you put it in your proposed budget before the public hearing.
and,
You can always go backwards.
Right. so what I want to remind you all, and I apologize if I sound like I'm being rhetorical, is this past year, we have bought more water. We had 3 wells over a year ago, and now we're down to 1 part-time. So we're buying a lot more county water.
Can
And
you give an estimate of how much we're spending per year probably on water now? Or,
I think that would be hard because we had wells that we were using, and so we didn't buy as much county water now. The well
Is
is
this-
part-time.
on the budget, was it like, what, $11,000, $12,000 last month?
We're in the hole.
Is that gonna be probably each month, or is it gonna be a whole lot more than that, or?
so part of our problem is we don't have true accounting of the water because it all went into the general fund.
Right.
And this is part of what we're going to do is breaking out water and sewer, DMV, cemetery, and the town operating budget. And may also have a capital improvement, which we don't really have. And so that's been the big
Infrastructure.
well, capital improvement is kind of what I'm putting as infrastructure. But that's been part of our problem is trying to find out what some of these numbers are. And the only thing I can tell you is that we can go back to look at the last 12 months of the bills to be paid and tell you what the water and the sewer was costing. But I can't tell you that those numbers accurately reflect what in fact we have spent. Here's the other thing that I will throw out there. This, what is it, QS1 program that we've had? Well, we determined, I guess by mistake, that some of the numbers were not adding up. So Reese and I got a hold of the QS1 folks. I guess he's called a programmer.
Loosely.
And how many of you are familiar with Excel spreadsheet? You know, it runs on formulas, right? What happens if you put the wrong formula in?
Everything's wrong.
So it appears, and Reese, correct me, because I went off the deep end. I'm even gonna stand up.
You make me nervous when you stand
I'm
up.
sorry. So all our expenditures that were going into QS1 and all our revenues that were going into QS1, the codes were swapped. So all the revenue coming in was expended as expenditures. All the expenditures were revenue. So what happens when you don't reconcile the books every month? Nobody catches that. And then
And it was only on some items, not all items.
right,
You can't correct it going back. You can only correct it going forward, and there's no way to do a group deal. You would have to go through every general ledger entry to see which ones they had reversed the coding on.
And it went back all the way to when they installed the system.
The software. Which I think has been,
So it's the software's fault, not
well,
fault.
they say it's our fault because they programmed it the way we said to program it. And because we.
That predates even the last.
So it's the program.
Well, they're saying they accept no responsibility because we should have programmed it, so.
Yeah,
So they programmed it for us.
Right.
I say it's their fault.
so,
Well, can I make a comment as part of the committee?
Yeah.
We know that the county, if you read Engage Louisa, you will know that the county is going to increase the water rates, and we are buying water from the county. So we need to, basically what we've done is it's pretty much the same rate or a little over what the county's charging.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but at our workshop, Reese, didn't you tell us that the FDA maybe just stated that municipalities cannot use tax money to compensate for water?
No, what you can't do. You can subsidize your system, but that's not appropriate because your utility should be self-supporting. But what you can't do is you can't basically have a flat rate for in town and out of town. If you're using general funds to subsidize the system, because you can't spend your general funds outside your jurisdiction. So I believe you have some sort of differentiation.
Yes.
But it's got to be large enough. I mean, you'd have to sit down and do the calculations, but the differential would have to be large enough that you're not getting any benefits of the general fund subsidy, which you're doing not only because the funds are having a shortfall, but you're also paying the non-indebtedness with your general funds and not from water and sewer rates. So you just have to be sure that any out of town users you have, the incremental increase, and what's the ratio you use? In Bowling Green, we doubled the rate for anybody outside the town. But you have a differential for out of town users.
we do.
How many out-of-town users do we have? There can't be many.
Couldn't tell you. But the other-
Well, all of Spring Road, I think gets water and they're out of town. The trailer park gets water, they're out of town. Everybody on the way to the trailer park gets water and they're out of town. And probably the people on the other side of Tollersville Road that are not in town, because one side is in town and one side is out.
Yeah, we don't know how. That's always been a running issue about where the water lines are. So, what we have decided to do, I think, is make a command decision that if somebody is out of town and wants water, we're not necessarily going to jump. We're going to say, well, it depends on where our water line is. If we already have a water line there and it can support that additional, then we'll do it. If we got to do a whole water line, that's not really going to be cost effective.
So when we sit down to look at these rates and approve or deny an increase, vote for or against the increase, we'll be able to see a differentiation between in town and out of town at that point.
Well, it's right here.
Yeah, it's very on there, it shows out of town and in town.
Yeah, but how many?
Well, oh, you want to know?
Are we talking 4,000 residents out of town
Meeting on
or
the 15th, and we'll ask Hank to just calculate how many people we have in town because he reads meters.
can't we get it from QS1? Can't the system tell us how many we're charging in and out?
Well, I have to talk Patty, to see if there's a way to see who pays the higher rate.
Yeah, and I don't know how they set that up.
Whether it's correct.
Exactly.
Understood. I get you.
What's wrong with the wells? Or is it the better you replace the pump and you draw the
There's
well?
not enough of water. It's a water. issue.
Groundwater.
So, the state or not?
You do, and the quote that we got was almost $250,000. Not only to drill, but to all the apparatus to make it a drinking,
They got treated,
exactly,
so
and we don't,
So we need to find some grants for that, for that program. So we've got to bring in a grant level.
so what we've been doing is taking it offline, for a certain amount of time, and then it slowly works up, and then supplementing,
so you abandoned one well, didn't you, out at the park? Is there any way to bring that back up?
it wasn't producing enough.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, this wasn't. The amount of money to fix what needed to be fixed, we wouldn't have gotten our money back in the amount of water that was producing.
So I haven't looked at this yet, so are you telling me that you exceeded what you had in your budget? What a substantial plan.
I can't tell you that 100% because, that's. I'm looking at numbers, but I'm not necessarily sure what my level of confidence is in that.
So that's something you gotta keep in mind, and some of,
Yeah.
on the sign, I'll look before we sign the sign, to see if that. Because last year we blew it out like by 100, I forget what the number is, but
Yeah,
in that budget that I just handed out, we blew that number out. We had to amend the budget up it substantially, because there's a bigger problem there last year, there was something wrong with the switch and kept just kicking it. System plus the leaking manholes for sending tons of water into your sanitary sewer before they discovered what was the cause of it.
yeah, so we actually went over that by $350,000.
Which if you're on track for something like that again.
Yeah, I mean, we've been running after this train for a while because I was on the council for the last water and they opted not to do it, so we didn't do anything. And Bernice, I think you were on council,
12 years and never did anything.
yeah, so, I mean,
It always stayed the same and bills just went up.
Right. I'm sorry, what's the gentleman's name that does our water testing and?
Hunter Martin.
Hunter,
Hunter Martin.
Can we have him, can we ask if he can come in and?
He
sit with
came in.
us? He came in not that long ago.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago.
But I would like to hear more. Be able to ask.
Isn't he
more
quitting?
specific.
Isn't he retiring or something, or?
He deals with water quality.
yeah,
Actually, it came to do something on water consumption.
yeah, it's actually Hank that is the maintainer of the,
Who was the gentleman that came in and briefed the previous administration on the hopelessness of our water system? What was his name?
I don't know.
Same person?
Yeah.
That's the gentleman that I would like to sit in front of and be able to, because he knows the system. What do we need to do to get the system to a point where we're not hemorrhaging money month after month? And he didn't seem to have a whole lot to offer in the way of fixing it, except for kind of start over.
Right.
But I would like to sit with him. He's got a lot of knowledge on this system that we as a council don't have. I think he can be a benefit.
All right, well, then if you're gonna come to the next water meeting, I'll see you and have him there.
Yeah, I think he could, not at the next water meeting, at this public hearing. Where we're gonna sit and talk about the water rates. Let's have the people who are the experts talk to us. That's what we're here for.
Fair enough.
I will throw out one thought for you, just to get you thinking.
Yep.
Is if you blown that number out as bad as you did last year, we're gonna have to do what we did last year, which is you'll have to amend this year's budget. So you have the authority to spend the money that hasn't been appropriated. And that will be used as the base for the proposed budget. That's the two-step that we did. So when we go to the public hearing on the 12th, you would first adopt the budget amendment, so you could adopt your full budget, if that makes sense. But back to the earlier question you said on money, you do have the equation because of ARPA funds. I mean, you have funds available, fund things. But there's only so much of that.
Aren't there grants out there that can, where it can, without water?
Not gonna be 100%, I mean.
But, I mean-
USDA does is
You'll fit
they'll give you a grant up to a certain percentage point as long as your rates are high enough and you set rates high enough to pay for everything and have a sinking fund and all that. But they're not 100%, so you've got to take on debt, and you already have debt on the system. So, which again, you're gonna pay, you're gonna pay through the water rates. They may make you guarantee it with your general obligation just to secure the loan. But they'll want you to set the rates to do it through the water rates. So it seems to me you've got either you're gonna just start buying in bulk from the authority, maybe negotiate a better price, or look at the cost of doing that. Now, they do give you money to do engineering studies 100% to do like what you would need to get your wells in and all that. However, they won't give you that money until all your audits are current. And you're gonna run into that with every funding agency, that if you don't have the current audit. See, the state doesn't require you to have audits, by the way, if you're a small town. But the federal agencies, or people that hand out the money, they're like, well, that doesn't matter. If you want our money, we want to know your finances and whether you're financially responsible and you're financially capable of paying us back.
Well, didn't we do something with the water a couple of years ago? And it was like, was that
there was a report that was done.
No, I'm talking about, didn't we put something in us where y'all could read the meters from here or something?
Yeah, so.
Wasn't that done?
Yes, we changed all the water meters and made them.
And you could read them from
all
here.
electronic.
And that was done like for 145,000 or something
It
like
doesn't
that.
let us read them from here. What it does is it allows us to take this one and it goes to the computer and then we can download it.
So it's some upgrades have been done
Yeah,
like that. I mean, that's
yeah, but that doesn't,
it's not like we haven't sit on it and done nothing.
no.
Oh, and then Tommy, didn't we do something else that we used COVID money?
To help line the man.
We did. So, I mean, we've done some things, so.
But the problem is we've improved some of the infrastructure, but that still hasn't brought down the cost of the water.
Right, so some things have been done. I mean, it's like nothing's been done.
Some things have been done, but it was not money that the town. It was COVID money. It was.
Was it, I mean, if we had COVID money, spend it where it needs to,
But right
which
now,
it
we don't
was.
have-
We
That
don't
money
have
is
that
not
revenue.
available.
Exactly, I understand that. I mean,
So we've got to literally look at water and sewer needs to be able to.
yeah, what I'm saying is things have been done.
Yeah.
Everybody said, some people are saying nothing has been done in so many years, but things have been done.
Yeah.
We have begun in not the only town that's been in that
Yep.
spot. And the COVID and ARPA money have helped put a Band-Aid, but not solve the problem that you're underfunded. You don't have economies of scale. You still have, my understanding is, you still have a lot of lines that need to be replaced, that they're the old lines that are decaying. You have some systems of lines that aren't moved. I understand you also have fire hydrants that don't work. You also have, now we found out, a supply problem. We already, I think, I haven't looked, but I think rates seem like they're fairly high already for a small town, but I have to look further. But That, when you're town 457 with limited number of users. That starts adding up real quick.
Right. The newspaper guy went with,
Only as a local resident. It might be worth looking into, it might not be relevant here. We had some friends who had a well, it was down over 400 feet, producing almost no water. Contractor came to them and said, I can fix that. He fracked the well, hydraulic fracturing, and it started producing. So it might be something worth looking into with your engineering folks, because basically it's modifying the well down at its lower area so that the water begins to come into it. They ended up having plenty of water and they were getting like 4 gallons a minute before that.
And I wanted to just go back to a question I asked earlier, and I think I jumped the gun a little bit. Who would be the best person to sit with us and give us a triage of what we need to do for the water system to fix it? You had said Hank, and I kind of steamrolled right over you, trying to figure out this other gentleman's name, but if Hank is the better person.
well, I think between the two of them, I mean, if you really want a good analysis of the local area, I could certainly go to the water authority because they've done some analysis on our own system. Because at some point, they were interested in buying the whole
System, right?
system. Now, we made a lot of improvements on that and we decided not to do that at that particular time, but, yeah, I'll need to run around my head chopped off in the next couple of days to figure out who can give us the most bang for the buck.
Actually, we talked about this in our utility meetings, and Hank and,
Like the plumber.
Mike Lehman, and they're both in those meetings. We talked about all of this. I don't know if it's kind of like having another meeting, but I already advertised the meetings. So we're having one on the 15th.
Yeah,
So I wonder if, and the reason where I'm leading this to is where the planning commission is trying to get the comprehensive plan prepared to present to council. This should be a bold bullet point on the planning commission's proposed comprehensive plan.
Right.
But if, this council decides we're gonna fix the manhole covers, but we've got pipes that are leaking in 100 spots, what is?
so we know where some of those water pipes need to be fixed already. In fact, I have asked, and Hank has a list of those.
Is that why we got white lines in our road right now?
It could be, I don't know. Part of the other issue you have is the price of those supplies have gone, and actually getting them in is the other problem. And then you have to contract out to be able to dig up the line. Some of our system here has no cutoff. And so, I mean, look, the whole thing needs to be re-engineered from one end to the other.
Right,
And
well, that's why I'm saying, who can
then our
tell us-
water tower is only 60,000 gallons.
Right,
And if you're talking about just the little amount of building that we have authorized between 9 town homes over in this side, we have up to 30 houses here on Richmond Avenue. And then these onesie twosies, we're talking right there, probably about 50 new users of water. And my concern is how much capacity do we really have for additional building? And then I hate to even throw the bomb. If that PUD thing ever gets going, there's 305 more. And there is no water at that end of town at all. And so part of the modification we're bringing in off of Richmond is we're dropping a 6-inch line underneath Richmond Avenue, and then we're closing it off right there, just anticipating future growth in that direction. And, you know, we talked about doing a 4-inch, and I said, well, look, guys, if we're gonna, eventually somebody is gonna buy that.
Right.
We need to not put a Band-Aid and then say, oh, God, I wish we had put that 6-inch. And so we're gonna bring 2 6-inch lines in. We're gonna bring one in from First Street and one in off of what I call Fourth Street in underneath of Richmond, and they're just gonna sit there until that thing, whatever happens, happens. So that it's not gonna be as painful. That might be 10 years, that might be next year. I don't really know, but part of our problem is we have not done a good job at foreseeing growth. Because I've been here 21 years, and truthfully, except for in the last 2 years, that's the most growth I've seen in the town of Mineral. You have onesies, maybe twosies, but, you know, more than that, it just hasn't happened.
Right.
So I know we got way off the CPAD on that. Let me go into the town manager. So part of it, I've already told
You
you.
haven't finished new business.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. Okay, the vacant council seat. By law, either council has to appoint somebody, or after 45 days, if council hasn't appointed, then the courts will appoint it. So I just throw that out to you to have a discussion on council's wishes.
Can we put something on the website? Just a
Sure.
quick little blurb on the website asking for any interested parties to send letters. Mr. Jarvis, I would ask if they send it to you.
Yes,
I did want to point out on the water proposal,
yes.
your email address that's on there is your personal email.
No, it's Louisa.
It's Louisa County.
You're not using your mayor email address? FOIA, I'm just
Yeah, well,
advising on FOIA.
Yeah, well, the
because-
E. Jarvis and Louisa is foilable anyway.
Okay, all right. I just didn't want your personal.
Yeah,
email, so
no.
you're all out there. We don't need to know that much about
Thank you.
you.
Yeah. Okay, so
Put
you,
that on the, we should put that on the, ask that on the Facebook page also.
Can we?
it's Facebook. Do you have,
I still don't have access to it.
Can we have that changed tomorrow? I had asked for it when I was in charge of PR. It never got done.
Well.
I understand.
For clarification, Shannon had sent me an email saying that she added me. And that there was like the meta suites, like business suites. And I've used that before because I'm the administrator for the MHF page. And I've never had to use an app before, but even when I log in on my computer and I go to that, the meta suite, I still don't have anything that is indicating that I've been granted that access. I don't know whether that would have been coming from Shannon or whether it would have been coming from Talia. And so I don't know if it's a problem that I am not currently friends with either of them, therefore they cannot send it to me. And so it's not
Back in the
showing up?
day, when Facebook first came around, Leah set up that business page. She used her own personal Facebook
Email?
page because it's just like I have a realtor page, but it's connected to my personal page.
Right, but you can relinquish control of that. She could go through and give
She
that up.
Probably still got it.
So then we need to talk to Talia that, because I don't know if she would be able to grant me access because we are not.
Why would
Facebook
Talia
friends
be
Because I've
even-
never met her.
Why is she even
Right.
in
If she-
this?
If she created the page, then it's linked to her personal
Right.
page.
So
so
she can
she-
read all our emails.
No, the
No,
Facebook
only through
page.
Facebook. Only. the
Oh,
This town
Yeah,
page for Facebook.
Oh,
See, everybody that has a business page it's connected to somebody's personal page. You can't just put a business page up there.
Right.
Right, but she can go in and she can
Right.
relinquish control of the page. She can give it to somebody else. So she would need to go in and do that. So I have not received anything regarding the town Facebook page as of yet, but like I said, I don't know if it's the
I
issue
even
that
go
I'm
on
not
that.
friends with her.
So I don't know if I can access or not.
I
And
mean, I'm a friend of the town, so you can see what the town is putting up.
somebody just left.
Right, I only go
Somebody
to
just
town a
walked out.
mineral site. What's that?
It's our alarm.
That guy in the corner, the C, he's from the C thing.
Are we
That
in
thing that we
trouble?
did Last month, we voted on.
Do we need to get on the?
Oh, yeah.
I think we're good.
Yeah,
All right, I just sent it to her, all the relinquish the page. We'll see what it is.
I mean, and if I need to come in and meet with somebody to show them how to do it, I'm more than happy to do that, but.
I thought it was an easy request, I mean,
right?
so I hear different, I didn't know that. So,
Yeah, I
okay.
remember when she set it up and she told me that she had to, because it was like when they first did it and she really didn't know, and I didn't know either that you had to connect it to somebody's personal page.
Okay. That's always, I guess, good information. Olivia, your newsletter.
Yes, so. Hold on. I would like to reinstate, council sending out a newsletter to all residents, as was occurring when I first moved to the town. I believe Ed QB was the council member who was
That's his personal.
produced. He did it though.
It was not approved by council or anything, that was his personal newsletter. If we send out one by council, it's going to have to be approved.
Okay, I mean, but I think that we should make that happen. It's one of the biggest pieces of
And I
feedback
agree with
that,
that, I think
that-
so.
Are you
One of-
saying mail them out? That's another
um,
job for,
We have a male champ account, that
and that's costly
you
too.
sign up for, that we could put in flying carbon copies and that is the newsletter link and tell people if you want the newsletter to go sign up.
you're referring to email, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that would, I mean, that would basically be the same as people signing up to receive the agenda and everything. I meant a physical newsletter.
Get a new system, if we're whatever it's up. Oh, we can put these newsletters in the mailings for the,
Water bills.
yes.
Yeah, I think that that would be great, but that's also, when is that going to actually?
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah,
So what would it entail to just put the water bill? Is that a 44-cent stamp or is that going out with a 63-cent stamp?
Put on postcards.
Postcard, so it's a 44-cent stamp. So. I mean, why don't you just put them in a regular envelope, use a regular stamp?
I agree
with a
with that.
newsletter?
And then I know eventually, like I say, when the system gets up, we'll be able to actually send out notices too. If people sign up with this new system, they'll get, we can send out information to them as well.
mhm.
What kind of information are you thinking of putting on that? I mean, is it something we have to prove every month that everything's on there? That we think it should be on there, or if it's information that should not be on there?
I don't think that anything that's gonna be on there is probably pretty general, but I mean, it could just be emailed around. If you have a problem, you just tell them.
Right.
I think it
Um,
should be anytime we pass a resolution or an ordinance, I think that's
Well,
important.
can I run through what's on there?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Have you guys taken a look at the template?
I saw it.
Okay, yeah, so the first section is upcoming events and like significant things in the community, so I threw a couple of things on there that I felt like would be relevant for like its first coming out, which currently it has that the farmer's market is now open and it has the day and time and I think address for that on there, and then oh shoot, I had another event coming up as well on there and I can't remember what it was. But then also I would put like the public hearing dates and then also our next council meeting. Following that was resolutions and ordinances. So anything that we decide to pass or change would be on there to notify the public, and then additional news at the bottom. So that would kind of be the catch-all. So if there's anything significant that we discuss or decide or want to notify the town about, there would be a section that's kind of more general. And then the very bottom, it is acknowledgements. So that would, one of the things that I was kind of envisioning with that would be like us being able to recognize, residents or community members that are doing something, to contribute to the community. The one that I wrote as an example was a tribute to Tony Wade, for the first one coming out in his memory, but that would also be, either residents could send in if they wanted, if they had something that they wanted to shout out, or we as a council could, kind of nominate somebody to go and be highlighted in that way. Additionally, I would be able to put that there's a vacancy, and that we're looking for people who are interested in potentially being on council, just kind of the general information that we want to communicate to the public.
That's one thing, if she doesn't get that done in time, when does the water bill go out?
It's on the 15th, but I'm just gonna make an observation. Is first of all, you got one person who's so overwhelmed. You don't have any staff here. Also, just like the water system, what have you, you don't have your file set up right, you don't have your record set up right, you don't have any idea where you're at, and to do all that, we do have an update of the website coming, where a lot of this information will be pushed out there. Just production, folding, all that additional cost. I mean, these are all good ideas, but where I'm going is, I think there needs to be some triage done here. These are all great ideas, and I've been in communities, said with newsletters, what have you. Really effective, and people like it, and it does create that connection and participation in the community. But and I'm only part-time. You've just got a lot of issues that we got to work with, and just throwing that out. That's just my observation on somebody who's in this office.
So heard, but prior to you coming on board with this administration, Mr. Peck, we had received a lot of feedback from residents specifically stating that they do not know what is happening in the town. And so this is to address that. And while I understand we do need to triage, this is something that would take me all of 5 minutes each month to put together and send out in order to address that specific feedback that we've received.
I'm just saying that if you want to start having some physical things produced here, envelopes folded, stamped versus the postcards, you only have one person here doing that. That's my only observation on that. Electronically, that's easy to get out there. Need to produce some. Some people do pay online, but a lot of people come in and pay their bills too. So, we could just have a stack there. I'm just saying, be sensitive until you can get hired. That there's certain limitations here on getting things out. And I understand what you're saying.
That wasn't even where I was going.
And it didn't need to come out by someone here in the building, I mean.
I was just gonna say.
Right, I mean, I would be more than happy to come in and fold up and stuff from envelopes in order to make that happen.
We're looking for somebody that might be interested in council. That should probably be on that water bill.
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, I don't even know if we could, everything's like, I don't know if we can even print anything like that on there right now.
Not that, and there you got to do the envelope stuff.
So is there, I didn't get a.
Well, no, you can
I mean,
print,
I-
you can print this comments on the water bill, you get up to 30 paragraphs right on the water bill, that's what Bernie's is saying.
So why can't you just do, is there a place on the envelope, like under the address, where you could just print a label? If you're interested in town council, send a letter, blah, 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 and just stick it under the address or something.
Why are we putting water bills in an envelope?
We're not this one.
We're not. They're postcards.
If-
She's saying, put it on the postcard.
Well, you can type it right onto the postcard, you get 30 characters.
Okay, so I think that should go on this postcard, that we're looking
I
for
agree.
interested people that may be, or people that may be interested in serving West County.
That's it. All right,
And what date are you asking?
I would give them till the end of the month. Because it's only 45 days that we have. How many days have been already?
Well, no, it's.
Well, that would be from today, right?
From today.
Okay,
So we have 45 days from today, because today we've officially vacated the seat.
Right.
So I would say by next meeting, And then council can
But it
review the
doesn't
letter.
last 15.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a meeting on the 24th.
You could.
Right, but if we say we want the letters by the date of the next meeting, and then we make a
Review the-
decision.
Well, we should do a little bit before so that we can review and read all of them. So if we do to the end of the month, that gives people 2 weeks to submit it. And then we can read through everything and be able to come into our next meeting with an informed opinion.
But yeah, by the end of the month.
Do
Um,
we just send water bills out to?
He may have, I gotta check with him.
Yeah,
So can we go back to the newsletter, which is the item that we're on currently?
Yeah.
Is that something that council is interested in pursuing? If there are concerns about being able to get it out, I'm happy to dedicate an afternoon to come in and stuff some envelopes in order to make that happen. Thoughts, feedback?
I think it's a good
Opinions.
thing.
Yeah.
And I don't have any problems in folding. You don't even have to stuff on the you just fold it over, stick a sticker on it.
Great. I motion for council to approve sending out a monthly newsletter following the meeting.
Gonna do it before the meeting.
Right after.
Well, right at the water bill. So it'll be before each meeting. You get a newsletter. Is that what you're saying?
It would be following the meeting. So like following this meeting, I would then over the next like day or so. Fill out the rest of it of the things that we did for tonight. I'll email it to you guys. So that if anybody has, hey, you forgot this, and then have a day, probably like Friday, where I come in the afternoon and fold these up so that they can get sent out.
And the water bill's gonna be with it.
That's well.
Cause then that's gonna mean Patty's gonna have to do something extra.
We got so separated on different topics. This is just for the newsletter.
Yeah, but if it's going out on the water bill,
It's
It's
not.
not going out with the water.
It's not.
Yeah.
We got,
Theoretically, like when we have the new system, we could just do it all as one thing, but that's like
But-
once.
but
it's
now-
implemented.
right.
Yes,
but
for
now-
now, it is a separate thing. Yes,
okay, so there is a motion for the
Second.
newsletters, second by Rod,
abstain.
abstain,
yes.
yes,
Yes.
Bernice,
Yes.
okay.
Cause I'm not sure. The reason I abstained.
No, you're looking for
I
clarification.
don't, yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
When that conversation was very confusing.
Yeah,
Right.
we got
Thank you.
way off
Okay.
track. Yeah,
Okay, so, the next item, is whether we want to allow the fire department to use water and not be charged. And
Exactly.
McGee,
Okay, well, I wasn't sure. All I said was we're having a fair, then I got a response. You gotta read the meter. I have no idea what the heck that was all about, but anyway. I don't know why. She can explain why she said that, so. And then I'll,
so let me, try to lead through this. As you all know, at the firehouse here in the town of Mineral. On the rescue side, which is the far side, there actually is a water meter. For that part of the building. Interesting enough, the other side where the fire trucks are and stuff. It doesn't appear. To have a meter at all.
can I say something while you do it? The town does not charge the fire department for water at the fire department.
Yeah, because my
Right.
understanding, there's no meter.
Right,
You can
and-
do that.
Nor should they charge them since it's
So the 6-inch line that actually goes into the fire station. In the past has allowed the fire department to obviously fill up the tankers.
which they do not do now.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue the story, and also wash the trucks. So when this new council came on, my first official act was to send a letter to the fire chief, Lloyd Ruddit. And tell him about our situation with our well, and that it was not functioning at 100% capacity. And that although we want to support them, we ask them to refrain from filling up the tankers, washing the vehicles, because we were paying for that water. And sometimes we were paying from the county and not from the well. The fire chief gave them direction. Allegedly, they're no longer filling the tankers up. When they do training, they go outside down to the county, up to where the water regional and do, and school and do that. The question that came up, and I think it's come up before, was Walton Park has functions and the water comes from mineral. In other words, it's coming through our system.
But the
Right.
firemen are paying right now for that water.
Okay, so now you want the firehouse to get free water
Exactly.
strictly for washing and going to the bathroom?
We already got, they're not paying water at the firehouse. What I would like to see is that we support our fire company by letting them have free water for Walton Park. Because that's where they have their fundraisers and everything. And these men, we do have paid firemen and the county takes care of that part. But these guys and gals go out, spend their time to make money, to support the fire company. In case your house got caught on fire, they can come out and they can help save your house or save your life or anything else. Why shouldn't we help them out with, I don't know what the water bill is for Walton Park. It's not used that much, but it was used last week for the fire. For the fair. It will be used in July for the fair. The ag fair comes up in, no, it's in the July. They have a few functions that, a barbecue cook-off or something, a few functions that go there. Other than that, they're paying, they don't have sewer, of course, it's just water. Why can't we support them by not charging them for the water at Walton Park? My theory is if you don't want to support them, then get your butt out there and help them.
Told you both.
Huh?
I told you both. Support them and help them. Do you have a motion that you're gonna make?
Yeah,
See, when we have a function such as the ag fair, that's not a fireman. I'm sure that they must be getting paid to have that use of the facility.
I don't think they are.
But
on that.
still, so that is a county fair that they have animals there and I know they use a lot of water for that. So I don't think that
One time a year.
anything county should not be water free.
Fire department specific, I think we should support our fire department.
Well, how are you gonna determine the difference from who's going in there and using water? Not, the water's never cut on unless it's an event.
So if it's like the fire.
You can't just go down there and.
Right.
Read the meter. I mean, when we used to have things there, when it belonged to the town, we'd read the meter before like the Bluegrass Festival, and then we'd read the meter afterwards.
I think because I know Louisa County Historic Society has done events there. I don't think we should be giving them free water.
No,
They're not mineral.
and the Parks and Rec does,
Parks
they have
and Rec.
a fall.
All right, since you brought up the Historical Society, we are giving y'all almost free rent,
Right.
which is $10.
I'm not agreeing with you.
We could get $800.
How much money is to be?
What I'm saying is, hold on. What I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I was in the middle of it.
Go ahead,
a sentence. What I'm saying is, I agree with you, we should support our fire department, but not Louisa County Historic Society, Louisa County Parks. and
But we are supporting y'all.
No,
The historic.
No, mineral.
Okay, Louisa, or
Okay.
mineral.
Okay.
We should, if it's the Mineral Fireman's Fair, then we should support that event and not charge them for water. But if Louisa County is bringing in an ag fair, that has nothing to do with our firehouse. And we can charge Louisa. So we read the meter before they do their event and send
Who's
them.
going to read me that? I'm not. So
No, we've got,
It's gonna be-
we've got staff for that.
Staff to
You've
do.
got, Hank will do that. But if it's someone in town for Tana Mineral, I think that we should be able to.
well, we got to think
So.
about the volunteers that are out here for zero money, zero money. My son works his butt off. I used to work with the ladies auxiliary and I have given it up in the last 5 years because I've gotten older.
So what's your motion?
I'm making a motion that we give the fire department free water at Walton Park.
So
Is there a
second.
discussion on this now?
There is now that there is a second, yes.
Okay. How much money is the VFW get? Because they're also a 501c3 like.
Do they come to my house to save me from my house cards catching on fire? No,
Here's the question again. If we're starting to give money away to.
we're not giving it away. We're giving them water.
Stop arguing with me and let me finish. If we're going to start giving money, free water to organizations that are 501c3s, if that's what the fire department is. Then,
It depends what, I don't know what the fire department,
but
I
I
don't
mean,
know what they are.
the VFW gives a lot to this community. What are we giving them? My question is, what are we giving them?
The
They're
fire,
not getting anything. Let me finish. I'm still talking. The town gives $15,000 a year.
from the state,
Doesn't matter.
from the state. That's not from our own money.
Okay, but it's still in the.
It doesn't matter. They pay for those fire trucks. They have to,
Let me finish.
Am I gonna have to use this?
go ahead.
Put in for our budget that I've given to Reese and I've given to Ed, the $5,000 that was set up for police and legal issues, I asked for it to go to the fire department. But you don't know that because we have not seen anything on the budget.
Well, how can you sit here and argue with me with something I have not seen? I still think
And that's
the-
why
the fire department, plus they are supplying a truck for the Lake Anna, the new fire department, everything. These guys have worked for however many years that Lord said it to me. And they have built this fire department with blood, sweat and tears. And they work.
I don't think anybody's disagreeing with.
Well, it
Okay,
seems
no,
like it.
No, it's just. You're really close to it, so the emotional.
I've been with it.
Out a little bit.
I've been
okay?
with it for years and years.
Understand. So I think what you've heard with the motion that the council is willing to do something. Okay, Blair, of course, was letting you all know that with the $5,000 for the legal thing, she did say that that would be a donation to the fire department, which would, I'm sure, more than pay for whatever the water usage, because I could be wrong, but I don't think the fire department in Walton Park has even gotten close to $5,000. I mean, I'm gonna.
So what's the big deal of paying the water bill if it's not that close? Well, I'm sure it's not.
Well,
I know,
the water system is not paying for itself, so that was the point.
Well, that is
The
the
county's
point.
down there, they're charging us big bucks for the water, we want it back.
Well, I agree. So this is why she was only saying it's for fire department functions
Right.
only.
Well, then that needs.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying just that.
She's saying Walton Park area.
No, what her motion was water for the fire department at Walton Park.
That's how.
That's the motion I second.
That's not what she meant, is it?
No. I don't see any reason that we can't support them. Then all y'all go there and volunteer and see what work is put in by these guys and girls.
But
When they have a fair, go set up and cook food for them and help them out for the week of the fair.
But
We are
Becky, I don't think you're
saying to support
understanding. Yeah, like we're on board if it is an event that is put on by the fire department. But when Louisa County comes in and has the ag fair and brings how many people and how many animals, and because our water system isn't producing enough as it is, we are purchasing water from Louisa County to then give free water to Louisa County. Is
So
what
does
we're
the-
saying.
Does the ag fair benefit the firehouse at all?
I
Financially.
do not know. I do
That would
not
be a
know.
good question to find out, because if
So-
it does,
I think you should.
Even if it does, it's Louisa County, they're charging us for that money, we need
yeah,
to bring it back.
at least then do an even one. If it's Louisa County that's using Walton Park, they have to comp us on our monthly bill for the.
Well, they gotta
water
comp the
usage.
fire department.
Right, they own it.
It's really fire department. owns it.
Right.
Okay. So we have a motion to allow the fire department who's having functions at Walton Park not to be charged for water use.
And they are charged monthly
And
now.
that was seconded by Ron.
Now, I want to clarify
Okay.
that I seconded the motion to allow free water for the fire department.
Because they are billed monthly for a
I'm not
flat
saying-
fee
I'm
if it's not
saying-
used.
Right.
I'm not saying you go and rent a pavilion at the park and you get free water. I'm saying for the fire department.
Okay. Look, I get it.
Okay, I
It's arresting you. I'm
I
trying to
just
get on
want to
board.
make sure that I'm motioning, or I'm seconding the motion I think I'm seconding.
So with that, Becky,
Yes,
Olivia,
Yes.
Yes.
Rob. Blair. Abstain?
So I want to clarify,
Okay,
we are charging county ag fair for the water.
this fire
and
department
Parks
was,
and Recreation.
Oh.
And
anything that is not
Not the fire-
fire department sponsored,
And I'll change my.
Yeah.
I'll say yes.
okay,
yes,
yes. Oops, I'm glad we don't have a lot.
So,
So
in
the
other
fire
words, y'all
department-
need to make a letter to the fire department saying you're getting free water, but if
I-
who and who,
I-
whatever.
I will take care of it.
All right,
And then once I do it, I'll send you all a copy for your,
oh,
okay.
my nerves are shot.
The town manager, so I already talked to, about the programming issue. I also talked about, because Ron was ahead of the crowd, wanted to know approximately the cost of the Servo computers, and what we estimate that cost to be. One of the other things that, again, I almost hate to say it, props its head up, is all of you are familiar with the Virginia retirement system. It appears that, I don't know how many years ago, the system is set up so that when somebody gets a pay raise, you have to go into the system to let the system know so that the right amount of money can be pulled for their retirement system. Well, you know where I'm leading. That was not done.
For
And
how many years?
Are the people that are impacted by this in their retirement, have they been notified, and how are we going to rectify it?
so I'm happy to report we have rectified it, but we had to write a check. Some of the employees aren't even employees anymore. In fact, there was, I think, about 6. Is that? Yeah, anyways, so we ended up, let me do my math here, unless you're okay with the approximation.
Yeah, the approximation. You've already paid it out.
Yeah, we
There's
were,
nothing to approve,
yeah,
so.
because it was something we had to do, because we didn't do. It was $3,255.92.
Read that one, what?
$3,255.92. And that was one check for Plan 108043, and the other one was for Plan 307059, but it was all part of the retirement system. So anyways, that was done. I'm hoping that we finally have seen the bottom and nothing else is.
Why would you jinx it?
I'm sorry. Reese? Any other comments you want to add about it, because
Well-
he better notes than I did.
One, Andrea responded to my text, says 12-month does not apply because they are two different proceedings.
Okay,
on that.
That's not what she told me.
I'm not going to get in the middle of the fight. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing.
I'll have her put it into an email, be sure, I'll talk to her, because sometimes she thinks.
Yeah.
Unclear, but your issues, because it's, I'm assuming from what you said, it's because it's similar in nature.
Well, it's the same request. She's just asking for a different end result, and she offered that to me. I did not ask her.
Maybe she was talking about zoning, not variance.
Right. So I need, yes,
Okay.
we definitely need clarification on that.
Anything else you want to add as it relates to what's going on with this? Oh. Thank you for reminding me. So, you know, the old land was in the closet as you step out in the hall.
The what was in the?
The land, the
The server.
computer.
Land,
Sir.
land,
LAN.
oh,
Local area network.
I was going, land,
That was a bad place to put that because of the, not only the circulation, the cooling, but all the electric. It was too close. As you know, or maybe you don't know, because at the end of where all the tellers are, there's a storage room. That's going to be where the new LAN is going to be residing. It's got better heating and air conditioning. The floor is actually sealed, so we don't have to worry about moisture. And we already had some power lines and cable fiber in there, and we just beefed it up, so we had to do a little modification, and that's in a secure, better secure area than the closet. So that's going to be where the new system will be once it's up and running.
Just, you know, again, trying to get some of your systems in place on that. One of the things that I had set up that wasn't followed through is putting together, and this will help you with your newsletter and these files. I'm going to get these access to all the town council files.
Yeah.
And in there, we had for last year to put together a calendar that will tell you when you had to get your notices into the paper to be either the two successive date or the budget or different dates like that. So that when you go into these meetings, that staff and mayor and everybody know that things are gonna be in by this date, or it's not gonna be done on this, because what's been happening is those dates all of a sudden, everybody gets busy, nobody has the date in mind, then the next thing you know, you're not talking about the lease time. You know, things like that, so I'm trying to get them updated and we'll get that taken care of. But again, the budget, the accounting system, the local area network, the webpage, and the agenda management system, which will get greater public. I'm a great believer in transparency. You should have all your records up there. They should be searchable. The more information you can put up there, the better. The system that we're putting in was in the budget last year. It's very user friendly. That staff will easily be able to do it. We'll be getting design and doing that in June. But there's a lot of heavy lifting, and I've talked about it. We just really want to manage expectations that these issues that need to be resolved are tough and going to take time. And one of the things, philosophy, and I share this kind of philosophy, you have to have a strong foundation before you can have an operation that works. And what happens a lot, and it's happened in this town, is when you don't have that foundation, it brings somebody in, particularly if they're fairly new to the field, that they're constantly fighting fires and they don't have the right support of infrastructure in place. So these are tough issues you're facing. They're going to take time and money. And the water system, I would say, is got to be really one of your top issues. But the problem is it's going to take money and time to figure out what the solution is, and money that you're not going to get access to free because of the audit issues. And at the same time, you're bleeding because you're losing water, you're not pumping water, you're spending a lot more water. So it's sort of it's killing you at both ends. So that's something that's gonna take a lot of attention by the utility committee, and then again, setting budget priorities. I keep hearing a lot of money that is above and beyond what was your traditional operating budget. So again, you have some money to get through the transition that will allow you to exceed your past, well, probably exceed your revenues over the next year, 18 months. But again, it's good. I would encourage you to do some strategic thinking, set priorities, and work at getting systems in place first. And again, we'll get it up so these meetings will go immediately out there. And when the new system comes in, it basically automates the agenda package, never makes labor intensive, makes it easy to do minutes, do it right online, and then use first seconds and all that. So those are things that we're working on. And but again, we need to get some staff in place and get some system.
And the last thing I would say for the town manager, unfortunately, we had to send out notices on delinquent water bills. Obviously, down the road with the rates going up, that's probably going to impact people in general that way. Right now, I'm happy to report that our delinquent rate is about $2,400. When I came on, it was about 14 or 15,000. So we have, unfortunately, I wish there was a better way of getting people to pay without having to strong arm them or threaten them. But I don't know what that answer is.
Isn't it something set up that will pay their water bill one
That
time?
was only during, and we did take advantage of that, and
Oh, okay.
people really did benefit from that. But there is no type of governmental thing like that. There might be a county thing.
Well, I was thinking it was something that
Yeah,
last year.
but I guess my issue is, our water rates are fairly lower than other places. And if somebody, at least as I'm doing it now, if somebody has an issue or something has come up, I just assume they come in and tell me what the story is. and stuff, instead of me having to wait 2 months and then reach out to them and say, hey. And then find out what the story is. If you had come to me at the beginning, I'll listen and, you know, if it's a legitimate thing, try to either help them or point them in the direction. But it's when you get more than 2 months out and it's like, okay, well, you should know that you're not paying your water bill. Why haven't you come in and told us, you know, maybe somebody died, maybe you both lost the job, you know, I don't know. But it's when I gotta go out, and then we gotta use these Gestapo tactics, which, you know, my mother always told me you get more with honey than using vinegar, but I guess people think differently, so if somebody has an idea about how to, if there's a kinder, gentler way, you know, speak up.
Do you think maybe some kind of working out system where they pay just a little bit to catch up?
Well, we have done that in the past. Some folks have been able to do that. The policy, and I call it a policy, I don't even know if it was policy, it was something, was that if you got X amount of time behind and you got the infamous letter, there was a certain amount that you had to pay to get quasi-current, if I can use that term. And then, you know, we've given the individual an opportunity to at least state how they intend to do the other. And some have been very good at that. Some have started good and then fallen off the wagon, so to speak. So I guess part of what I have said to everybody here, and one of the things that have frustrated me, is we don't have any written policies on a lot of stuff, and it's always seat of the pants type of stuff, which gets us into trouble, or things change and stuff like that. So I'm gonna reach out to some of the other places just to see whether somebody has found the, I don't know.
I'd like to, if I may.
Yes,
I'd like to ask, is the town currently following its code in alerting residents of its delinquent tap or delinquent water? And whether or not the water is being shut off?
so I can tell you that I can't answer that except for since this administration has been and I'm pretty sure we have.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say we haven't,
Okay,
because I was handed on Friday night a bill. I am a month behind on my water bill because I forgot, it's old age.
Yep.
Our current code, I'm looking at it.
Yep.
States that water cannot be shut off for a resident until upon 60.
that's right, and that's
days
why
of notice.
you haven't gotten a notice that yours is going off
It
until the
says-
60 days, right?
No. The
That's-
letter that was hand delivered to me by another member of council,
Yeah.
which in and of itself is a violation of our town code. It needs to be mailed, it needs to go through the postal system. Said that it would be cut off in 10 days.
Okay,
This code states cut off within 60 days of written notice. I'm not saying this because I feel like I need more time to pay my bill.
Right.
I'm saying this because there are residents who do need more time. And our code allows them that time. That's why our code was written the way that it was written. And we are pointing our residents to this code. And then we are throwing it out the window when it's convenient for us.
so 6 of the people were actually 7 months behind. So
And they have-
shame on us
No,
for waiting that long to even send the letter out.
agreed, one
The
hundred.
longer you wait, the more you're gonna have
The
to
harder it's
pay.
gonna be to get that bill.
Right,
I agree with that.
so going by the code, then, what you're really saying is we have to wait till we're into the 3rd billing. Okay.
I'm not saying I agree with that.
Well, no,
I'm saying that's
that's
what
the
it
way it is. I will make sure that the town clerk
We
and
need to
I
investigate those
And-
modify
lines.
that.
And if anything, that is something that we can work on by correcting the code so that
Exactly. And there could be a later addition. There may have been an ordinance or resolution that's been passed.
Right.
It's not online, so we cannot adhere to it. This is how we point out,
So if somebody's a month late, send them,
and they have 60 days
Yep.
from the
One-
date
if
of
they're
that
1 month
letter.
late, you send them the.
But if they're not gonna pay that 1 month, then it's gonna be 2 months, then it's gonna be 3 months, 4 months.
All right, Grace,
You're right, that was one of the things in the budget last year. That, well, there's three that really quick, with, E-code is. You can't go by what's online, it doesn't matter whether that's right or wrong. Because if that's the standard you use, I always thought it came up on, how you changed density last year. That's never been incorporated in your code, but it's been passed by ordinance. And that took me totally by surprise because it wasn't in the minutes, I didn't have a copy of it, but it actually was passed once we did there. But you had just here, I already, minutes here, you passed all sorts of new standards at that December meeting. None of that's out to the public, it's nowhere, I'm not even sure it's in our computer system, it may be just in Andreas.
And it's not enforceable.
Well, sure, it's enforceable, doesn't matter if it's out there or not, if it's your code and. Well, once we have a copy in this office, it's been certified, it's adopted by the clerk. It's enforceable. Now, should we pull down that code? Or maybe that's something you should do. Until it's recodified, and if we put together that printed version and start crossing out pages here. Put both together, but again. There are years of. This. Stopping in time where no administrative. Process has been done for 2, 3, maybe more years. Well, it's basically the last 2 to 3 years that. Stop, but yeah, that's a major problem, that's, I started that project last year, I've got a lot of it. That I researched and found in different computers and files and what have you. So again, my file folder was on the desk, never followed through on, never incorporated, but that's something that we need to start, but you need to hire a firm to do it. How do you do it? You hire one of those codification companies to do it. We just did that, and I'll ask how the process is going, because they did it for fairly cheap down in Buchanan, because they had the same similar issue. They had a code out there, they had all sorts of ordinances that had been passed. And again, the mismatch between what the public was seeing and what was actually in the ordinances.
okay, so just one more mountain. You gotta cut down, and I apologize to you for that going down. I wrongly assumed that, and I'm not blaming Patty because she's doing, but I figured all those letters kind of were a
I would rather,
Xerox copy of
Right.
the,
I would rather it happen to me
yeah,
than a resident, because at least I can call it out and say, hey, we need to fix this.
yeah.
But, you know, we have to go by the code that we point people
Now
to.
I'm gonna go back and look and see what those dates were.
It's something on the back of the bills. When it comes in, you have until the 15th. After the 15th, you're gonna be charged.
Interest.
It's like 10
Right.
or something.
Just, I'll give you observation.
Yeah,
They enforce that pretty good in Bowling Green, I'll tell you what, people, once you start doing it, people learn and make paying their bills important. They had a problem there too, where their people weren't paying their real property tax, their personal property tax. One of the prominent attorneys hadn't paid taxes a year, and after 3 years to go away. Well, piggybacked on the county election agency, and then you could pass on there that there's 20% surcharge, so you get all your money. And, once we told them we're gonna take you to court, everybody brought, and said, this is gonna affect January 1st. People pay your bills, and then all back up every year. And the moral of the story is if you enforce people, learn behaviors and incentives. If there's no incentive to pay on time, they don't do it. It's,
Okay, so, Andrea's not here to give her report. Shannon's isn't here. And, her dad was notified today that they had a kidney for him, so she took him to UVA, so. No. Outcome, but I do have her report, and I've asked her to change the report a little bit because it seemed to me, when you're giving me the total amount for the month, it doesn't really tell me what the percentage is that you, the town, are making on the BMV. And as part of what Reese and I talked about as we set up this new ledger and stuff, we're going to actually have a DMV section of the ledger that shows expenses and income, just so that from not only council's point of view, but town residents, you can see exactly, is that really doing what has been reported, or is it sucking money out? April's revenue gross was $664,251.95. The town's percentage of that was $32,745.75. And that was down about $7,000 from March's revenue. Obviously, on the 28th of April, the server went out and they had to take a half a day off. And we were able to get them back online on Monday. And DMV has a vacant part-time position because, as you know, I forget her name, thank you, Kathy, retired. And so there is a part-time position. And the DMV Connect, which is the home office, will come back in here to do the real IDs and all the other stuff that we can't do as a select.
We have a date for that.
It hasn't been determined yet, but it'll,
Newsletter.
yeah, they'll release it on July 1st. So, and that'll be an appointment on. So that's all I have. For
And that's
the,
a big deal. Those DMV select buses make a ton of money.
Yep.
And there's only one left in the state.
Yep.
They fired the rest of the Connect teams.
yep. And then the only other thing I had in your handout was the group life insurance policy. And with that beautification, you want to give us a synopsis?
We had the beautification festival on April 29th. We had a pretty good showing. However, there was an emergency in town, a hazmat spill. And so the road was closed all day long, so people had to find a way around to get to because it was right here at the train tracks, to get over to the beautification festival. So it took till midday to really get a whole, everything going when they couldn't get across the railroad track. I finished the flower bed over at Luck Field. You two are doing those two, or you three. And I have the one at my house, but I don't usually do that until the winter flowers die and they're looking pretty still. So I'll leave those until I get they get spent. That's about it.
Thank you.
But I got the next two, so why don't I just keep going?
Okay.
Utilities, we have a meeting on Monday at 5 o'clock. If anybody's interested in coming, it is advertised. Buildings, I really don't have anything with buildings since it's been a lot of attention on this building with the server and everything that went down, so things are being switched around, and I think that's great, so that's great.
Police, as Bernice said, we had the problem at Express Lane. I think it was a gas leak, and that took place April the 30th or whatever. 29, whatever, yeah, the 29, okay,
It's like 28th at night, 10:30, and then the next morning there was just flooded all day long. In
Yeah.
fact, today, I have pictures where that hazmat team was in town today, taking stuff out of the drains.
Right.
okay. Also, they had at the bank over here, was it Trusick? They had one of the electrical outlets caught fire. That happened.
They had multiple strips,
Right. That,
kind of like what we had in here one time.
Turtling, they were turtling.
Yeah.
Buildings in a row, because isn't the little church, isn't that the same thing that happens to them?
I think so. I think so.
Gracious, look at that.
Okay,
Turtling, they were turtling.
Power strip.
Power strip, to a power strip, to a power strip, it's called turtling.
also, I did not get a report from my source at the sheriff's department. I think they were busy doing other things. As I usually do. Next month, I had that fire department. They had their fair last week. I think they made pretty good money. And also the car show is June 3rd from 10 to 4. And it's $20 per vehicle. It's free getting in. And they'll have food trucks, music, whatever. And it should be hopefully a good turnout. They've never tried it before. And we'll be at the back lot of the fire department,
What day is it?
June the 3rd.
Third, okay, thank you.
Is it antique cars or just any?
Anything,
Any kind of?
any kind of whatever. They like the antique cars, but whatever you got, bring it.
Do
And
they have a flyer for that we can throw on the website?
she's already put it on the website.
So,
Yeah. So that's all I have on that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Timmy Luck is in charge of doing the fire hydrants where they're going to go in the county and, that's, they have not done it yet. I don't know when they're gonna do it, but it's supposed to be done.
And that's for the maintenance.
And that we'll have more updates of what
Right.
might need to be done.
Good. I don't have anything at this moment on the economic development, so with that. Line,
It's not me.
Planning is working on beefing up our actual team. We're working on the two proposals for street closure and the pumps at Miller's. Again, no quorum, so they were not able to come to an official recommendation. We are also looking to assign or have council assign a Board of Zoning Appeals as well. So we're reaching out to people and asking for their interests
okay,
That'd be something else that we can post on the
on the
town
website.
website.
I think it's been on the website for quite some time.
before we go into finance, we're gonna take a 5-minute break because last month you guys said if we went more than 2 hours, you wanted a 5-minute break. So we're just gonna pause here. So that those of you that are swarming and stuff, I'm reading your body language. So please.
Ron. Going to debate.
Olivia.
It's probably gonna be a free.
What is that? Is that Blair's wife?
I was in
Right there.
another.
She's left, the blonde haired woman that was sitting there. Blair's wife. I don't know her.
No,
I don't either. I
I
was just,
don't think so.
oh, okay.
She did look really familiar, but I don't think I've only met Tina once.
Is that her
So,
name?
Tina, yeah, I've
Oh,
only
okay.
met her once.
It was a
I'm
little
not-
girl.
but I don't,
There was a little girl with her too at first.
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it was,
Oh.
but I'm not totally sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stranger, all I know is a stranger.
Yeah. She looked vaguely familiar, but I couldn't
Right, right.
think of
Right.
like where I would have known her.
Are we gonna wait to go in the bathroom?
But I know I better go because if you're gonna be like, you're in the band, so, yeah.
There's a couple of concepts. Pretty busy.
Hey, Ed, um.
Yeah.
What's the lowdown? What's the lowdown on Reese?
Reese is helping me with the finance and
Is
stuff
he
like
still
that.
in the part-time?
So he's part-time helping me, but
But-
he hasn't decided,
Cause we were supposed to.
yeah, no, we decided, so. I decided to let him work the way he's doing, to give these guys an opportunity to see he's not a big bad asshole.
Exactly. Well, I vote for
Yeah,
him. I
well,
mean,
I
no
know.
problem.
I know, I'm trying to win the other,
Yeah,
so by keeping him.
well,
where he is,
he's-
okay.
I mean, if we
How are
get
you
that
doing?
mess back there cleared up.
Yeah, no.
I mean, what about, do you
Yeah.
have anybody that's applied for clerk? Or do we have, I mean, what's happening with the?
Yeah, well, him and I are actually working some of that now.
Chris, how's everybody doing?
I mean, he can't sit on it. He can take care of it. So,
And that's why he was trying to defend it.
He had
yeah, because I mean.
Little League practice tonight.
Somebody.
I will have to come up to like 6 chapters.
Oh, God, that's.
God woke up and.
Okay, and we'll continue.
We've got finance.
Finance. We're hoping. Again, to have the budget up here and stuff. Cemetery, are you happy with the mowing?
I haven't been down there. But I talked to Louis. He said something about, he talked to Patty about a letter. I think I told you about that. Where he wants
Right.
to people to get it. He said maybe when like Patty sells a lot or whatever, give them this letter to state what the rule. He said it's pretty bad down there with all the
Yeah,
loose stuff. And he said he has to pick it off the grave and all and put it back. I said, don't put it back, put it somewhere and let people come get it, you know, don't, whatever, but I also. Yeah, I also thought. Maybe we could get a kid go down there with him and Ed, you suggested maybe his son, maybe pay them a little something to go down there and take the stuff off the graves. And help in that way where Lewis doesn't have to stop every whatever.
Probably take.
Cause we used to have a summer program where we would hire a kid.
right.
I don't know if it's any kind of thing like that before, because I know that we have done it before, but you know, like I said. That and sign. Lewis wants a sign down there with the rules and whatever. As soon as he sends me a template of it, I'm going to the sign shop in Mineral. And see if Tina can can make it and what it will cost and everything, and from there, go from there. That's all, that's the only thing I can do right now. And I think I gave you a copy, Ed, of something that I found in Snake's stuff. And I don't have a copy of it, so if you still have it. But Louis did say he was gonna send me something. So that's it.
Water and sewer, we know.
I think that's streets and stuff.
We did utilities.
Yeah.
Or
Streets.
basically talking about up there by, I can't think of it.
It's and road and what's supposed to be Pendleton Road, they call it Davis.
Davis Highway, that street really needs to be milled down.
Oh, that's where the signs are on too.
The signs are on there.
It says Davis Highway. Davis Highway is on this side of town. That side of town, the road's called Pendleton Road.
Okay. Social?
We already kind of
We
went
already talked
over,
about it, Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
You skipped one.
communications,
Personnel.
oh, yeah, personnel, I'm sorry.
So we obviously have none. As far as personnel, I need to catch with, on where we are with the health plan and benefits package that we wanted to review. So that we can add that into the annual budget. I need direction from town hall as far as what to do with bringing people in. I mean, I know we now have, Mr. Peck at 32 hours per week. And, he made a valid point this evening, we need more personnel. We're not gonna ever get out of the trench that we're in if we don't get people in place to get us out of
Well,
that
and
trench.
that's why I'd love to see the clerk or the finance, the treasurer, whichever of the two you think is, that you can get sooner than.
So are we not getting the accountant company to step in and fix things or?
We just got some proposals that we haven't reviewed, so,
Okay.
yeah, no, we are doing that. But, am I saying that I think we really do need a town clerk?
Well, by state law, we need a town.
Well, yeah.
We are in violation of that law every time we gavel this meeting into order,
Right,
but, they're not gonna bury us for it, but I was waiting on direction from the town manager as far, because I don't wanna put it out there and have all these candidates come in, and then we start interviewing them, and this body decides, okay, this is the person we're gonna have, and then we look at the budget and we're like, oh crap, we can't afford a town clerk.
right.
This is something we need to know before we start interviewing, because if we start making promises
I agree.
and then we don't follow through with those promises, then our reputation becomes mud no matter where, and then we won't get to candidates. So we hire in the pizza delivery boys to be our town clerk.
I hear it.
Please don't even give us, please don't even give us the delivery.
So what I'd like to do is, for our next regular meeting, is have the new personnel committee come up with a job description, posting an advertisement. That's not,
Isn't that already out there?
yeah, but it's so long, people are
Put
skipping.
put it out there
past it.
again now,
I don't
right?
have it. When
Go
we
home
talk
tonight
about
and
it,
do
we
it.
have to down. And so somebody needs to send it back to me.
Okay, I have it on the VML website. I'd like to shorten it and make it a little bit more exciting, and then do a link, put the long version on the website. Because I think people are skipping right past it because it's so much reading that they're just scrolling right
The
past it.
shorter the better.
Yeah, I think short and sweet and to the point, and then put the link in there that brings them to the
What is the
official.
education for that? Is that a high school diploma?
For the clerk, I think we were looking for an associate's degree.
Well, I don't see why, I don't see why we need that.
Well, a high school diploma for the clerk, I think it needs to be more than that, because that's how we're getting those pizza delivery people.
I think it
But
needs to be the
Amy
associate's
would have
degree.
been She was not. She was good.
Yeah, she had the qualifications, but we did get a whole lot of people that weren't qualified.
Yeah, the pizza driver.
That's the funny thing.
It's funny, because if you go through them, it's like every other one, it's almost like playing a tennis match. It's
Okay.
almost qualified, this one wasn't. Qualified, this one
I'm
wasn't.
trying to move you along.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let's go into.
So no, so more to
I'd
come
like
on
to
personnel.
go into closed session. I move we go into closed session pursuant to section 2.1-3711A3 of the Virginia Code to discuss the investment of public funds for the acquisition of real property for the public purpose of where negotiating is involved in discussion in open meeting where adversely affect the bargaining position of the town.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
So seconded.
Just pause it. Down at the bottom.
You have to approve the motion to go into closed session.
I know, I'm waiting for a second.
He just.
I just said
Oh,
so second.
geez.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to go back into open session
So moved.
And seconded.
and everybody agree?
Aye.
Okay. So.
We screwed that up.
Is there a motion to reconvene or certify that only what was said going into closed session is what we discussed for consideration?
So figure that out.
And bring it in.
So certified.
So certified.
Okay, we're now back into open session. Is there a motion to recess this meeting
A motion to recess
to?
or adjourn.
No,
Oh, what?
listen to what I'm saying. Is there a motion to recess this meeting to May 24th at 6:30 here at the town hall?
Yes, I motion that we recess this meeting to
May
So
24th.
May 24th at 6:30
May 24th, 6:30
at the town hall.
at the town hall.
So seconded.
Okay,
Yes.
Yes.
ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
A motion that we adjourn.
No.
And we're We're done.
Never
Yeah. Right.
I know
I
how
got
pizza's
lasagna at
cold.
home.
Your what's?
Pizza's cold. I went from in the restaurant to get pizza.